And hopefully she was going to be able to carry them effectively here, as it makes sense, I think, that the top laner would be the workhorse of the roster.
Yeah.
That's what I would be assuming. Anyway, here we are.
You say that. I feel like Sam was the GOAT support.
That is true.
Supported Frodo. They're underappreciated.
But career is definitely merry, and there's just no way around it.
You're not wrong, yeah.
Unfortunately. All right, so Sam will be up there. He's going to ban away the Nocturne here, and we're going to do away with the references, I hope, from now, unless I come up with any more.
But this is interesting.
Bard and Karma.
A Bard ban from Kiwoom DRX when Bard has been banned against them.
Yeah.
Quite heavily in respect to Andil. So opting to take away from career, respecting some of the big plays he's made.
And he's also, they've got first pick. They could have first picked Bard, theoretically.
I think the theory is that there's probably going to be more important in their view things to take his first pick. So they don't want to, and it also protects the Bard for a future game.
Yeah.
In terms of Fearless. So I think it makes sense in that regard.
Man, there are a lot of things available. The Orianna and Cassiopeia trade could happen here as far as the bans are concerned, or we could just ban Jarvan and see what happens.
So many. There's Ori, there's Cassio, there's Lucian, there's Rumble, there's Jarvan.
Oh, dear.
Jarvan gets taken away, but still a lot of picks possible in this situation. What are Dplus going to do? I feel like banning Cassio or Ori means the other one is going to go into the hands of Kiwoom DRX. So dangerous. We have seen ShowMaker developing some pocket picks to answer some of these meta picks. So we'll see if he goes in that direction.
I also really didn't like ShowMaker's Cassiopeia last time he played it. And so maybe banning like the Orianna, baiting out a Cassiopeia pick could be an option here. Although they are going to just ban the Rumble. The Orianna will be the first pick here. And we'll see what ShowMaker does have as an answer to the Ball Lady.
Interesting they go for the Orianna immediately.
Why is that interesting?
I mean, she is really strong. But I feel like with Lucian open as well, the value of Cassiopeia can be pretty high in that situation. Like if you pick Cassiopeia and they go Lucian, it's a bad time for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the Orianna is really strong, but they've eliminated the Jarvan and the Nocturne as well to kind of limit the power a little bit. But knock on the Cassiopeia, ShowMaker just going to pick up the Viktor and play a mage versus mage matchup.
Yeah, and I think this makes some sense. I don't think he's all that excited about playing Cassiopeia again, and I kind of understand his Viktor has been absolutely fantastic.
Had that great game. Was it in the LCK Cup? He had that great game on
Cassiopeia? Yeah, no, he's had phenomenal games on it. It's just more recently, things didn't go as well.
Yeah, I think he needs to get the confidence back.
I agree.
To me, I feel like Lucian is kind of a standout that's left in this situation.
All right,
so the
weight lock it in.
Of picking this Lucian means that your third pick is kind of locked. It's fixed now. You're going to be going Milio most likely. Now, the question for Kiwoom DRX, do you secure a bot lane here to match it? Or do you secure perhaps a jungle on top and give limited response for Dplus to answer it? If it is going to be the AD carry support, probably just something like Ashe Seraphine going to come through. But they go for the jungle instead. We've seen Vi be really popular into Lucian in terms of lockdown. And they don't just go Vi, they go Vi Nautilus. They do not want Smash to play the game. They're like, you step up in a team fight, you're getting ulted by one of us, and you will be held in place. So, pretty powerful. Also means that the Vi can obviously serve as a delivery system for the Orianna.
Yeah, I think Nautilus can do that as well. I think there's decent synergy between all three of these champions.
They're considering what to take here. Nami, I feel like, would be the worst.
Braum!
I was going to say, I feel like Braum is the one you take if you're worried about playing into a Nautilus. We've seen Braum be a pretty good matchup in that regard. Milio does better than Nami into Nautilus, but still, there's definitely that vulnerability. They go for the Braum. Also means if they do ult onto the Lucian, you can jump in front and block the follow-up from coming through. You can even, if the ball's passing and hits the shield, can disrupt that as well.
That's true. The Unbreakable can be pretty powerful. And we've seen Lucian Braum be a combination in the past. It's not necessarily the, the be-all and end-all, but you can certainly proc the passive incredibly quickly with the Light Slinger. So can kind of work out pretty well here. And you then, of course, boost your damage as well as the Lucian. As they do ban away his wife. If he doesn't get to have her in his lane, I guess no one can.
Yeah, Braum did get nerfed a while ago, which is kind of the reason we've seen less Lucian Braum, but still makes sense here. Now, they're going to target some junglers in this regard. I think the ban of the Xin Zhao makes a lot of sense. The skirmishing power of Lucian Braum Xin Zhao very strong. I like the center ban, though. It's a pick that we've seen rising in priority, especially if you go for that Deathfire Touch build with it has been pretty strong. Sivir then going to come out as a ban.
Interesting.
I feel like there's still a good amount of things you could play here for Kiwoom DRX. As much as Lucian Braum can be a scary lane, you can kind of just farm it out from a distance if you pick something that can play from a safe...
Yeah, I think Caitlyn is pretty good at that, isn't she?
Caitlyn Cat, Ziggs, Ezreal.
Hey, true.
Even Smolder would work in this regard.
All right.
But Jace is going to come through as a ban. It is Dplus with first pick here and then counter pick as well. The assumption is you're taking a jungler here, unless you're very set on securing something immediately for Sharvel. There is still the likes of the Pantheon, the Lee Sin, Neferi, Wukong. Neferi would be really good here because Into Vi was specifically where we saw it kind of prioritized first and foremost as a counter to that. Going to do well against a lot of this CC.
Not to mention Nautilus as well. You sort of annoy him by having his ultimate not necessarily work.
Instead, opting to go for the Wukong. I think the thought process behind this is we have a Braum. We don't really have that engage going for us yet. We want someone who can dive in and cause disruption. A bit more than a Fairy can do.
Well, I guess now Rich just picks a blind Scion or something like that. Could just Gnar towards the top lane as well. Does deter someone from picking up a Scion into it, as there's the Ezreal for Jiu, and there is that blind Gnar that we were considering. I don't know whether I'm like super enthralled with the Gnar pickup here for Rich, but he has had some decent performances on the champion in the recent future.
It just feels like the Rich classic is just the blind Gnar.
Yep.
Something he's comfortable on, been comfortable on for a lot of his career, and it has ultimately been pretty successful in the LCK this season.
Aurelia time?
Perhaps.
It could be time for him to upgrade his previous performance. Maybe we can get to 0-10.
The pretty stock standard LCK response.
Whoa.
Seems to not be what she was going for, hovering the Vayne.
All right, let's see whether he does it, and he does lock it in. All right, we are hunting for demons, and let's hope that this prehistoric Yordle is also part demon. Otherwise, it will be a little bit off theme for Siwoo in that top lane.
I think one thing is that the short-range Lucian is certainly a threat into this Kiwoom DRX composition, but by having the Vayne, you have a second target, which means Kiwoom DRX, even if they manage to kill off Smash, they still have to worry about Siwoo on the Vayne. Can obviously stack up the Braum passive pretty well.
They have 2 undodgeable ultimates, though. So they've got 1 for each AD carry.
The thing with the Nautilus ult, though, is if you use it on the Vayne and she ults and tumbles, it like just gets kind of, it stops. It just gets refunded.
Does it really?
Yeah.
If you go into stealth after it's going after you?
Yeah, it's really weird.
I didn't know that it popped like halfway through the animation. That's crazy.
Like a specific timing with it. But we saw it the other week with Keen when he was on Vayne.
All right.
Spamming the Nautilus ult every time he came out of stealth and he just kept going into stealth. It was really annoying.
Oh my god, that is actually so frustrating. I remember you mentioning that actually. Okay. Wow, I thought that was only because like he was trying to do it and every time he was like only very briefly visible. And I guess, you know, after a little bit, you kind of just are as the Vayne.
But you sometimes see like the little shockwaves start coming out and then it just goes back.
Yeah. Well, so it's going to have to be Willa that takes care of the Vayne. Let's just say that. Unless hers gets popped as well. It should be very, very frustrating. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Let's get it onto the Rift and get this fellowship on the road. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1 and Sharvel's debut here in the LCK. Very exciting stuff. Jiu also back after a very long time as she was going to get hopped on here by Rich. Does have the exhaust, but I don't think that Siwoo wins this one as he's tumbling and Rich is just going to kill him. Flash! And they kill each other, but first blood goes over to Siwoo. And there's a teleport for Rich. So Rich is actually in a much better position.
Rich was actually winning, despite the fact that Siwoo did the short tumble against terrain to reset as quick as possible. Rich also having lethal tempo, helping out a lot there, making use of the hop. But the flash, a missed flash comes out from Rich, and it ends up being a 1-for-1.
That was crazy. I really didn't expect Siwoo to stand his ground, because I kind of thought that, you know, Rich gets his hop off cooldown. I guess the cooldown of hop level 1 is ridiculously long.
Yeah, also the attack speed from the hop, I think, was a big factor in Rich.
Yeah, it looked like Rich was in a really good position as Siwoo is able to walk his way back. Does do a fair bit of damage there with the empowered auto from the tumble. As Rich just has his hat still up and available. Border refillable as well, but it's a longsword on Siwoo. And they are just continuing to fight. One more auto and he's dead! Siwoo just finds a solo twice in a row, I guess.
Yeah, first time round, we see Rich make a little misplay that allows him to be a 1-for-1, but now Siwoo is taking control of the lane. And all I'm thinking is what the rest of these two teams are thinking.
Yeah.
When you're just like, guys, what is going on top lane? I mean, Dplus probably pretty happy with how things have panned out, but it's just a bit chaotic. This is that level 1. So the hop coming in, giving that attack speed, and also getting the damage onto Siwoo's head. But Siwoo knows there's no ward. We put down on this brush.
Oh.
And it's so close to finding it. But when he gets that last order, that gives vision. Allows Rich to turn it around.
All right, we see it again as I think Rich missed a boomerang. Although actually hit that last one, just doesn't have the damage. Longsword advantage here for Siwoo.
Yeah, he hops in, and as you said, so when the first back came in, Richard just bought refillable, and she would bought a whole longsword. And was kind of like, I'm level 2, he's level 1, I can go aggressive here, find pressure, but the level up for Siwoo turns things around.
Yeah.
Now lane's going to be pretty tough for Rich in the top lane.
Yeah, I think Rich is kind of used to it, right? Has had some difficult lanes in his past, but yeah, this could certainly be a rough time. Does hit level 4 before Siwoo, as he was able to teleport to lane very early on, as we remember. Which is helpful. Siwoo has already got a win on this one in his back pocket, but Smash hasn't won on Lucian yet, which is kind of crazy. Miller making his way over here as Andil's going to move in as well, but it looks like no gank onto ShowMaker this time around. And Ucal just going to go back to farming. The Orianna has been very successful here in the LCK and is a pretty coveted pick, and has also been one that Ucal's looked out for a really long time. Like, they've been prioritizing Orianna higher than anything else before anybody else has here in the LCK.
Definitely a pick he feels super comfortable on. So far, doing a decent job into ShowMaker.
All right. The door comes up here as Andil is going to go for a bit of a re-engage, but Korea takes a lot of damage from Siwoo.
Yeah, you can honestly, if you're playing Nautilus into Braum, one of the ways you can play the lane out is just going extremely short trades, because Nautilus around his Aftershock, around his shield, and his upfront burst, if you actually hook onto the Braum, you can get a decent amount of damage down. The important thing is getting away afterwards. If you stick too long into the play, you'll get stunned up, you'll end up getting shredded down. But if you go for those quick, short trades...
Oh, that's what they're going to do here.
Just like that.
It puts up the door once again. There's the Titan's Wrath, though, as they do manage to get the concussive blows. Smash gets exhausted here, but they stay in the fight. Career in a bit of trouble, though, as we can see, as Siwoo is continuing to throw out the damage, really making sure that he shares it amongst the members of DK, as that hook does go a little bit wide. We do now have a monkey making his way into this bottom lane, as Jiu, the other one, is not able to see him, but I think they are backing off successfully.
So I think the upfront trade from Andil was good, but I think he overstayed in it a bit too long, and by the end of it, both the supports are kind of even in terms of HP. Jiwoo got a good amount of damage down, which helped, but I think you go in, you have a good trade, and you think, hey, we're on top, but your Aftershock times out, your shield gets taken out, and suddenly not feeling as good anymore.
Yep, and the concussive blows connect as well, which can make things a little bit more difficult in the Smash. Taking a bit of damage here, dashing forward once again as he actually finds Andil with that piercing light. Really nicely done. Sharvel at level 5 is now thinking about making something happen towards this bottom side, but Willer is able to get down here first. He was going to be able to win the race to level 6. As we can see, both of the junglers very similar on experience right now. The RNG does put the Scuttle on the top side. And that means that we do have a bit of a 2v2 in the mid lane for now. All right, Ucal is actually going to take a fair bit of damage here as ShowMaker does push him out of the lane, but that is all to try and get this Scuttle.
Ucal able to move first. ShowMaker still has some minions he'd love to clean up, but right now,
Yeah, Shockwave onto ShowMaker here, who just flashes away, doesn't want to mess with this at all. And now Korea comes over. That is an Arcane Storm onto the Orianna, and the Gravity Field holds him in it. So Ucal's out of this fight should mean that this Rift Scuttle will go over to Sharvel and going to win that first Scuttle fight of his LCK career.
Yeah, I mean, Kiwoom DRX not wanting to opt into that with the Vayne moving over, being a big threat. ShowMaker sacrificing some minions to get in position to help. Right. Mash is level 6, by the way.
The dash in from Siwoo as the culling comes down, the barrier comes in, and Siwoo just dies.
I think he was of the mindset of having the minion wave there would protect him, stop the culling from being relevant. But the big factor was that Smash had barrier, and Siwoo used that exhaust earlier in that trade.
Yeah, that was just a pretty clear advantage.
Yeah, so hyped up a little bit, trying to find an angle, overestimates his strength.
Oh, there is the Vault Breaker flash. Siwoo is extremely dead.
Mega dead.
Yeah.
Not much you can do against that when you get ulted by the Gnar and then the Vi as well. So we'll see the replay of this. The level 6 is hit by Smash, but Siwoo is kiting into the minions and then flashes in to try and get the damage with the barrier. Is a difference maker.
I think he was trying to like flash the piercing-like damage, but flashed into it and still got hit by everything.
It do be that way sometimes.
It does. It definitely does. Either way, didn't work for Siwoo there at all, no matter what he was thinking. And so it is going to mean that DK now move themselves to about a 300 gold lead, and the bottom lane is very far ahead. In good news, though, Rich has been able to create a pretty good lead for himself after that kill. Now is about 10 CS ahead of the Vayne, and is feeling a whole lot better. So what we were saying about Rich having a terrible time is now completely over, and Willer also, with that kill under his belt, is feeling pretty good in this jungle matchup as well, as the Vi has hit her usefulness stage of having level 6 access to the ultimate and the ability to lock down targets.
I will say that with Sharvel having his ult, Siwoo no flash, Willer no flash, looking to see where he makes use of that. I feel like especially with the changes for the ult doing more damage from the clone, Wukong can be really scary on the level 6 spike.
Well, Siwoo is just going to push this wave in, has evened out the farm somewhat for now, as there's control vision all over the place here for Kiwoom DRX. Sharvel is going to come on over here and clear out a whole bunch of it. There is going to be the grub started up for Willer, so it looks like it's just going to be a neutral trade. And with a Gnar, I think you're very happy to grab yourself some grubs. I think that he should be able to get some value here. Siwoo is going to stand his ground once again. Gnar in a good spot here for Rich, as Willer could potentially come up. Doesn't have the cease and desist, but would certainly be able to help in this potential 1v1 that the Vayne does want to have. And the grubs will be going down here. Sharvel is able to take out the Dragon. And we do just slink back into our respective jungles. It looks like Siwoo is going to play defensive in the top lane as well.
Yeah, nothing too crazy is going to happen. Siwoo respecting the fact Willer could have moved over to threaten. If Siwoo gets a bit lower, it could be potential to set up a dive, but not sure if they're that interested in that right now. We see already, though, Korea moving up towards the top side, providing potential cover. He kind of sends the potential for that play to come through, and they're just not even going to let it happen, but I think Kiwoom DRX win interested regardless.
Nope. And now the wave in a very good spot here for Siwoo, so he's very happy about how things are going. So things calming down on the Rift. About 700 gold is the lead as things all settle. I don't think Kiwoom DRX are too worried about it. I think their composition plays front to back pretty effectively. But I am a little worried about the DPS potential of an Ezreal composition where you do have DK able to kind of isolate a target relatively comfortably with the severe amount of AoE CC that Wukong provides. It's hard for even an Ezreal to get himself out of the way. Will not be all that durable if ShowMaker manages to sink his claws in. But we'll see what happens as we get to later game teamfights and how well Siwoo is going to perform. That's right, there is a Gnar avoided very nicely there, but the wallop is not. Siwoo going to be taking some damage there. Does use the final hour, but I think there's still a few hours left in Rich. I think maybe it's a little bit of a lie this time.
Yeah, Rich doesn't connect with the ult, but gets a good trade down, just able to disengage as he goes down a mini. Timing was good, even if the ult didn't necessarily connect.
Yep. As Korea making his way over. Ucal has been at 50% this entire lane, is what it kind of feels like. But is otherwise absolutely fine. Just a wave down versus ShowMaker. Trinity Force is now done for Sharvel, though, and a very slow early game. And I imagine Sharvel is pretty happy about it, right? He did mention that he prefers to be more of a smart jungler. And having a more slow, cerebral game seems to fit that selected playstyle. But it doesn't feel the same as what we've been watching more recently with some of our more bloody affairs that we've had, especially in the road to EWC. But here in the LCK as well, things have certainly got a little bit more exciting.
It doesn't suit the challenges vibe as well.
No. And there's so much challenges in this as far as the players are concerned. You know, there's Challenger plus ShowMaker Ucal Rich is what it kind of feels like to me, and Willer, I guess. So, but otherwise, I mean, everyone's a Challenger player, really. Let's see whether Gio and Andil can bring some of it out here against Smash and Korea. Two players they used to play with in Challenger quite a lot.
I feel like at this point when the Lucian gets Essence Reaver, because you do definitely have some mana issues earlier in the game, but now you can just play and go for these aggressive trades.
No mana issues right now because he gets to go back to the fountain. Actually, no. He is going to cancel that one. At least that is, we're not going to have that amount of passivity. Gio, though, just going to vacate the lane. We have the wave being pulled back here by Smash. So the bottom lane is just fine. The jungle is just farming. Having a look, there's not a whole lot of camps left after they've done with their wolves. So that means that we might see something. And I guess there's a minute and a half left on this dragon.
Yeah.
Not going to be an Ocean Soul as well. I think the theme for this game would be very Chemtech Soul favored, but there's the ulti out of Korea. Finds a lot of value. Flash out from Andil. Avoids death. And Gio not going to get hit by the Winter's Bite. But still, they are going to get pushed away. Some Crystalline Overgrowth should be eaten here by the Dplus Kia 80 carry. And that will put them a little bit further in the lead. Somehow they've moved up to 2,000 gold now. Just kind of out of nowhere based on Smash having a ludicrous amount more money than his opposition. Cashing in the cull, I believe, really did help push that over the line.
Cashing in the cull goes a long way. Bit of a farm lead as well. Getting some plates too. So Smash in a pretty good spot. Also that solo kill, obviously.
Yep.
But a sizable lead to have already.
Oh, some action perhaps? No, not really. I got a little bit enthused, but sometimes you just it's just more about moving the chess pieces around the board, Aux, you know?
Yeah.
And this chess piece is now moving back and forth. You know at the start of a game of chess, like they're just not really taking very much, they're just moving things into position? That is what we're watching right now. And by that, I mean, I don't really play very much chess. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know whether you do actually do that. But I think you could, in theory, just move a bishop back and forth.
I'm pretty sure you do move pieces around in chess. I think you're correct on that front.
Yeah, but like I imagine you do take pieces in the earlier stages of chess as well, strategically.
Yeah.
And sacrifice pieces and all that sort of
depend on the opening, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like you know a thing. You know, at least you know that there's an opening that you can do. All right. You've watched one of those videos that says Magnus Carlsen did this.
I have.
I haven't clicked on that many of them. I'm not going to lie.
I also watched Queen's Gambit.
Oh, I did too!
Yeah.
I didn't learn very much about chess, though. It was
I learned that when you play chess, you're supposed to look at the ceiling.
Yeah.
I haven't had this yet, but apparently you're supposed to see a chessboard in the ceiling.
Ah, that's pretty cool. I did also learn that, like, 60s houses had, like, kind of cool stuff in them.
Yeah. I wonder
that was a bit of a vibe.
I wonder if any of our players look at the ceiling and see, like, the Summoner's Rift.
You just look up and you just see the mini-map.
I imagine you look up, you're like, oh, I see it now. You look down, it's just gray screen. Perhaps shouldn't have looked up for so long.
Maybe we shouldn't have been doing that in-game.
Yeah.
Maybe they just, imagine that. In the player house, you just have a giant Summoner's Rift printed on the roof, actually. Brilliant.
Honestly, we should put a giant Summoner's Rift above the players in LoL Park to
there's a flash.
Help them out.
Something happened, Aux, I think, almost. As Rich and
Shield
are fighting.
Happening.
Look at that. They're hitting each other 3 times, and then after the 3rd time, more happens. More damage.
Oh, yeah. What do you call that?
I think it's Hyper and Silver Bolts. Or a 3-hit passive. Now Siwoo's going to get ulted back. Not sure about this one. Final hour does come on down. He's got the exhaust as Rich. I think might have been baited out of that one. The flash over the boomerang is gorgeous. Smash is dead as well, though. And we go 1-for-1 across the rift.
Yeah, I think Rich just doesn't need to do this. I think he keeps looking for the all-in opportunity. It's just totally unnecessary. Like, you're going to be useful in team fights.
But I mean, the game has been pretty boring thus far, and Rich is providing the action.
From an entertainment perspective, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But from a helping your team win perspective, it's definitely not. I mean, the fact is, Vayne has exhaust. So you go for this play, he's not close enough to get the slam into the wall, and then he also goes invisible and exhausts you. And it's like, okay, well, what are you supposed to do? There was a nice flash you as well.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, really nicely done there.
Levels up on Siwoo, but unfortunately he's playing into a Vi, He was feeling the 1v1.
Yeah, he wanted it again. Did get a few flashes for his trouble, but will just be punched to death. And that is 488 gold going over to Willem. That's going to cut down the gold lead quite nicely as Siwoo... Oh, dear. Well, Rich is not going to get condemned, or at least not stunned by it, but still going to take a lot of damage here. Charging up the Narbar, though, so I don't think was under any kill threat. But will just leave. Did get the message.
If he got stunned, maybe he still survives, but would have been close. Touch and go.
Siwoo taking a lot of damage here as he's just gonna have to flash out of the way of the culling. Smash is angry today, man.
Yeah, also he's hit that 2-item spike of the Lucian where you can kind of just ice skate and permanently have abilities available. You were not able to step up. And even without the Milio, we're seeing the Lucian have a lot of strength playing around mid-wave. We have to talk about Lucian Milio, Lucian Nami, just making it so hard to contest that mid-wave, but apparently Smash, just Lucian is enough.
Yeah. Maybe mid-Lucian is going to come back. I know his passive was entirely changed so that he wouldn't come back, but that looked pretty strong. Didn't have a Braum there.
Yeah. I hope not.
Yeah, me too. It was not a fun time. Rich remembers that time. Lucian was one of his favorites. Playing it against Summit over and over again. I think even Huni was playing. Yeah. When Huni was in the LCK, damn, he played a lot of Lucian. Remember, he was pretty good on it as well, if I remember correctly. I'm not saying that just because he's here.
I just remember I can't remember specifically which player who said it, but it was one of Huni's teammates in NA. And apparently, Huni and Rainova were playing Kalista top. And they just didn't know how the ult worked. And it was just like they practiced this in scrims and they'd win lane all the time, but they just didn't, they were like...
There's no idea why it was winning, as ShowMaker is playing this one very effectively. Rich hits Mega, though, and that is going to deny the kill. And ShowMaker will be taken out. Willa gets another one. Sharvel comes in, but a little bit too late, as Rich is just teleporting away. And Siwoo just wasted his teleport. And it's going to be now Rich going back home. He's in the top lane now. And there is an Orianna pushing an inner turret at this stage. Smash going 1v2.
We talked a lot about the Vayne Nautilus into the Lucian being a good answer, but those ultimates are still just very effective against the Viktor, who has no flash in particular. Here, ShowMaker just doesn't have the damage to cut through, gets ulted, doesn't get to play the game, and then it's just great read from Rich and Willa to split up and Rich to TP out. And because you're trading TPs, you feel so good about this.
Yeah. He even gets 500 gold for his trouble as he was exiting. Not entirely sure what that was for. I imagine it might have been a turret going down or something somewhere. But was pretty amusing. And that is going to mean that the gold lead has gone. It is just not there. But there is still a dragon lead, and Dplus Kia are looking at Hextech Soul Point. And that would definitely be something that they could use to leverage a victory here in this game.
Kiwoom DRX need to contest this, but Siwoo's so late. He's still clear in the mid wave. It's just going to be gone.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're going to be able to get in here. Let's see whether Willa can make something happen as Korea just trying to play bodyguard. They're not going to be able to get to the dragon. But can they find a team fight? That's the question. Siwoo's found Siwoo, and Siwoo is just going to die, I have a feeling. Instead, Siwoo's going to let him live as he's looking to help his teammates. Korea is going to go down, though, as Sharvel gets in there with the Cyclone. Andil going to get popped. As Siwoo and Smash, the double 80 carries, are looking to try and clean up, and they will be able to do so. Siwoo grabs that one against his opposite number. It is a 1-for-3 in favor of Dplus, and they get Soul Point.
Kiwoom DRX with not a great setup around that dragon. We're there in time to contest it.
Is that fair, though, Aux? It didn't look to me like they had much of a setup at all.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Siwoo is approaching solo and just ends up face-checking into the Vayne. But then I love the decision from Siwoo here not to chase the kill. He's like, Siwoo's at the fight, I can participate and ensure we sweep them. They managed to get Willa knocked up by the Wukong, Andil just gets shredded, and then Rich is trying to do what he can, but just can't really step up to all this damage in return. Dplus had a clear goal in mind, they got the dragon, they got the kills, and Kiwoom DRX just seemed a little bit lost, especially their AD carry.
Yeah. That's a Rage Blade now done here for Siwoo as well. It's not often what we see as item number 2 for a Vayne top.
A real Vayne item?
That's crazy. Isn't it almost always Essence Reaver that comes in second?
Yeah.
We have seen some Storm Razors as well and weird stuff like that, but It's not often a Rage Blade. That is a very fun item. That means you get Silver Bolts more often. We'll be able to do a lot of Baron damage, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of cool. Shockwave comes in the bottom lane, and she was just going to show Ucal what this Rage Blade does. Don't know whether that was massively due to the Rage Blade. The fact that he took so much damage there. It might have been the final hour, just giving you a whole lot of flat stats.
Also a lot of attack speed from the...
That's a bit Rage Blade. Yep. That's you can make something happen out of that. But DK sort of taking this like last one team fight and really running with it. This is the largest gold lead of the game so far, sitting at around 3,000. I'm a little bit worried for Kiwoom DRX because this game has been so slow.
Yeah.
And they are just slowly falling even further behind.
Not a ton has happened, and they really need to be the ones making the plays from here on out. If they just continue to play out in this slow manner, let Dplus have complete control of the map, they're not going to be able to contest this 4th dragon. If Dplus get Hextech Soul, it's just doomed.
Yeah. Especially with the composition that they have. We know that AD carries are pretty good at utilizing a Hextech Soul, and when you've got a Vayne and a Lucian on the same team, yeah, it's going to be pretty good. This Lucian as well has gone for the Black Cleaver with the double AD carry comp. I actually kind of like that, as Shio, I think, has realized that perhaps he is going to be in a little bit of trouble as he does try and get rid of the Vayne, Vi, but that is not quite going to work. The final hour is popped, though, as he goes into stealth, goes out once again, and locking down this Vayne, looking a little bit difficult as he disappears out of the way of the Shockwave, and Ucal just finds the air. He still had Flash that whole time.
Yeah, Kiwoom DRX going for the proactive play and don't get what they want. Really feels pretty bad. Those tools on cooldown for a little while means they won't be able to do much else in the meantime, and Dplus going to continue just consolidating their control over the map. You can see Korean moving against some deep wards down. And as you said, Black Cleaver for Smash, which definitely represents less damage than going like the full crit build and an LDR, but does mean you're a bit bulky, a bit more survivable, a lot of ability haste, movement speed.
Being able to run around a whole bunch is certainly going to be helpful, and Smash has been playing hyper aggressively in this game so far. I feel like it's been a pretty welcome change for how he's played in previous games this season, as Andil doesn't quite find the anchor.
I mean, Kiwoom DRX doing a decent job of pushing in and contesting this vision. It's over a minute till Dragon, but they have very much the mindset of we need to find an opportunity to get in here.
Well, maybe too much, as Rich is going to potentially get caught. Almost slowed down by the concussive blows, as there is the ulti onto Smash, but no follow-up is there at all, and ShowMaker eats a fair bit of abuse. There's a bunch of flashes out of the way of Rich, who is unable to find anyone with the ulti. ShowMaker having his flash on cooldown is a big deal. Korea not able to have his for a reposition on an ultimate or something could be good as well. But Siwoo in this whole time was just pushing the top lane.
That was some great reactions from Dplus. The members able to get away from the Gnar flash from Rich. They were ready for it. They saw him looking. And as a result, they managed to survive. They are down those summoners for the dragon fight. Able to dodge away well there. Andil just kind of walks up, and this is the point where, as a Nautilus, you feel very uncomfortable into all this damage and the potential Braum passive. Goes for the ult onto Smash. Smash just is able to get away from it. Resets his dash with the Navori, gets some distance. There's no real follow-up. Andil just gets shredded. And then the read here from Smash and Korea is phenomenal.
Oh dear, Andil did not want to go in on that one. Didn't get knocked up though by the Glacial Fissure and will survive at least for now. But his health bar is so incredibly low. Rich finding another angle here as Smash is flashing away. And the Cyclone comes in from Sharvel. He protects his AD carry. They get the double knockups. The Gnar is decent and ShowMaker is dead, but so is Willa. And Siwoo is going to show up and look to take him all down. Andil takes a couple of shots and then he'll fall. And Siwoo, he is on the queen of cleanup, as the Vayne is looking to try and chase down these last few bad guys before they pick off the ace. And Siwoo just going to get flashed on here by Sharvel, and he shows us the capybara. You love to see it. That is going to be a soul, as well as maybe the end of the game.
I love that most so much. It's one of the best.
So good.
So here, ends up fighting this choke, but Andil goes in, instantly regrets it. But then we see the Mega Gnar turning up, and then they go to look for Smash, but Smash just creates so much distance. Gets a flash here after the dash, so with the peel from Sharvel, Rich barely gets any damage down onto him. Siwoo and Ucal don't get to do much. They do kill ShowMaker, but now Smash can just free hit. All that CC's down. Siwoo comes into the fight and knows there is nothing available to deal with him.
Yeah, she was just, he wasn't there for that entire fight. I actually felt like Dplus played it really well defensively to make sure that they just bought enough time for the Vayne to get in and clean up.
Okay, Hextech Soul, 8,000 gold lead.
Terminus done here for Siwoo as well.
We're probably looking at a Game 2 angle. And
I think,
probably...
look, as someone who is aware of the fact that this is a best of 3, I think Game 2 may happen.
Yeah, I think chances are likely. But I think that additionally, the chances of Kiwoom DRX being 1-0 down when they go into that Game 2 are also very likely.
Yeah, I would say the chances of Game 2 happening and the chances of Kiwoom DRX being 0-1 when it does are pretty similar. Okay, Smash is going to get ulted though. There's an anchor towards him, and it's just going to be the barrier used, and Andil is going to be able to deliver a shockwave, but it just does pitiful damage, and down will go the Nautilus. She was going to chase after Ucal, and with no shockwave, there is no way he's doing anything about that. And the culling is going to cut through Rich. He is very, very dead, and I think that may have been very similar to waving a white flag as Kiwoom DRX throw away 3 of their members in a bit of a, you know, attempted Hail Mary, I guess, before their Nexus turrets go down.
But like a weird approach, throwing the Nautilus ult down when it's only you and the Ezreal there to really contest. The follow-up wasn't there. I think Kiwoom DRX have struggled with their setups, but Dplus looking clean. Yeah. 11,000 gold ahead as they push to end here.
Now, Willa taking a bit of damage. You can see career is relatively low, but Gio is going to get exhausted, and I would be exhausted too after a game like this. Down he will go. Willa is going to follow suit. Andil had respawned, but he can go down again. And that is another ace here for Dplus, and they will be able to take down the first Nexus in this series. A bit of a bounce back here as they finish this game at 13,000 gold in the lead. And ultimately, it turns into a shellacking after all was said and done.
This was not the fastest paced game. Definitely felt like more of a slow burn, but once Dplus got control, they did not let it go.